Hi. How you doing? I see you. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Books I Love series. We have a slight twist on this agenda today. I should have titled this Artist I Love because one person somehow managed to craft all of these publications amongst many others, and I wanted to bring her to your attention. But as with me, there is always a backstory. The backstory here is that for the last decade for Blurb, my responsibility has been to engage with the professional audience, photography, design, illustration, art, street art, all those things, not only in the United States, but also in Canada, Europe, and last but not least, this distant piece of land, you might have heard of it, called Australia. One of my all-time favorite places. I love the Australian people. I love the water. I love the territory. They have this big empty place in the middle. I'm not sure what's happening out there. They creatively use words like 18, which you and I might know is 18, like how far is it? 18K, that kind of thing. So I love their use of the language, everything about them. So over the past 10 years, I've been down there several times, most of the time to attend things like photo festivals or creative festivals. Head On, which I believe is still the largest photo festival in the world. You also have events like Semi-Permanent and Analog Digital. Their creative festivals and their creative industry in general is as unique and as talented as any group I've ever seen anywhere. It's really impressive to go down there and see what's happening. As you might know, the designer for the Zine collaboration AG23, that's a woman named Zoe Sadikirski. Today, I'm going to introduce you to someone named Chloe Ferres, because she is the one who's crafted all of these publications. And I'm going to walk through each one of these individually because they are each fantastic. This was the one that I originally thought I was going to feature, but then I couldn't figure out how to successfully show you the images through the 3D glasses. I downloaded every horrible app that's available in the cyber universe. I'm sure my phone is corrupted. It will probably crash and never work again. I tried everything and I couldn't figure it out, but I am a technical nobody. So anyway, I wanted to show you the rest of these. So I don't remember exactly where I met Chloe, but I think it had to have been at a photo festival or a design event or one of those creative festivals. Over the past 10 years, Blurb has published, and I know I'm going to get this number wrong, Blurb has published, I think it's over 10 million unique titles. I think it's 11 something, but don't hold me to that. Let's just say an even 10 million unique titles. That's a kind of remarkable thing. But I have to say, the single most creative user of the Blurb platform I have ever seen is Chloe Ferres. And Chloe is both a photographer and a designer. Now here's the interesting wrinkle here. I have not spoken to her in quite some time. We didn't have any kind of falling out or anything. We just started doing our own separate things. And I did a quick search for her website and I couldn't find the website anymore. I think you could find her on Instagram, but I'm not on Instagram. So every time I try to go on Instagram, it says sign in through your Facebook account. Well, guess what? I don't have a Facebook account either. So I'm hosed, for lack of a better term. So she's out there somewhere. But the thing about Chloe is she is a very independent thinker. This is a person who is impossible to pigeonhole or put into a category, because every time you think you know exactly what it is she does, she turns around and does something else also at a high level, and you go, well, now I'm confused. So I think a lot of us want to look at creatives or artists, and I know a lot of the people who are in the decisions of hiring people, they love to pigeonhole creatives and say, oh, you're the person that does X. And that way in my mental drop-down menu, I can see where you fit. Someone like Chloe doesn't fit because she can do all of these things really well. So we met and she immediately started to produce, and this has nothing to do with me. She was doing this before she met me. But she started to produce some of the most original books I've ever seen through Blurb. The first one I want to talk to you about is called 3x300. This is actually 3 books in one that fit together to, hopefully I got those, oh, I didn't even put them together right. Let me start over. Is that right? I'll get this eventually. I'll get this. There we go. I went to public school. I know what I'm doing. 3 by 300. 3 what I would call conceptual art books stacked together to form one mega colossal book project. Now, the cool part is that the inside of these books are incredibly basic. They are books designed to be flipped through. The first one is called Zoom. It starts with a wide cityscape and zooms all the way into basically pixel by pixel level. The second one is called Code, and the third one is called Fade, which is where an image starts out as nothing and then very, very, very incrementally slowly fades in until you have the solid image at the back. This is an art book object. This is not a photography book. And this is where I hope that you can learn something from Chloe, because yes, she can go out and do a photography book any day of the week, but her brain is working in a slightly different direction. And I think a lot of us can benefit from studying someone like that, watching someone like that, and learning someone like that, learning from someone. The next book I want to talk about is called Boom. And this is a dedication to someone called Irma Boom, who you might have heard of. The cover is the last part of the design, but the first impression of a book. And that's a quote from Irma Boom. This is a book, this is the first book I ever saw Chloe do that was designed to be cut. So there are instructions on the front with little scissors and a little dotted line that show you where you cut each of the pages. And each time you cut, you're cutting a tiny bit more and a tiny bit more, and it reveals the cover design of the book. In addition, Chloe's the only person I've ever seen do a Blurb book where there is art on the outside of the pages. And now there's probably someone else out there who's done this and I just don't know, because again, 10 million books, not exactly like I can search each one. But this Irma Boom book, fantastic. The next one I want to bring to your attention is Aeroglyphic. And this is I'm going to read it to you. Aeroglyphic, the scientific study of the geographical features of Mars, plus anaglyphs, stereoscopic images created with 2 superimposed photos. So what she's doing here, including tipping in a print, which is a nice touch. You've got this silver mylar, very space age looking envelope that it comes in. And basically you've got images that when viewed with 3D glasses will pop. And this is from the Mars archive. And that's all it is. This is at the back. She has curated by Chloe Ferres. So she went through that archive of the imagery of Mars, curated it, designed it, put it into a Blurb magazine. I love this for a variety of reasons. One, it's damn cool. And to open this up and put these on, and I have brought this to many, many events over the years, and I have watched people put these glasses on and just sit there and marvel at this publication. But the other reason I love this, and the other reason I love a lot of these, is that these are small conceptual art projects that Chloe can do and then move on with her life. It's not like she's going out there and printing this and saying, I've got to print 5,000 copies. I've got to come up with the money to somehow pay for a print run up front. Then I have to figure out my marketing, and then I have to figure out my distribution and my markup and my packaging and my shipping. And I can't really do anything else for the next 2 years because all I'm going to be doing is being married to this project. What's beautiful about these projects is they are incredibly solid in terms of their quality, but they're small enough, manageable enough that she can just do them and move on, because this is not all she's doing. Now, some of you have seen in the past, this is the next project I want to show you. This is called Magic City, and this is a collaboration I actually did with Chloe and Andrew Kaufman, the photographer in Miami. And this was a book designed to be cut. So potentially there was a little influence from her Boom book, but this was a book where it comes with instructions and you cut the individual images and then you can mix and match the photographs inside. This really got us thinking, and when we finished that, we went back to Miami and did a second book called Magic City 2. And this is one of, this for me personally, because I was a part of this and because Andrew was a part of it and Chloe was a part of it, it was such a, magical is a terrible word to use here. Magical makes me think of The Hobbit, right? And that's just not really fitting for what I'm talking about. This opened my eyes in terms of what collaboration could do. Why the heck had I not been collaborating more throughout my career? Because there is simply no way that this book exists without her. So when Andrew and I did this work, Andrew said to me, what do you want to do with it? I said, we should also send this body of work to Chloe and see what she can come up with. And she designed a book that is designed where the internal pages are designed to be folded. And when you fold the internal pages, it reveals a secondary design that you wouldn't see unless you folded the pages. Again, in 11 million books through Blurb, I've never seen one that was designed to be cut, and I've never seen one designed to be folded except for these. That is the mindset that, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that creatives have to have. If you are in line on the creative freeway and there are 10,000 cars in front of you and you're inching along in your metal coffin, that's a Point Break reference, by the way. If you're inching along the freeway in your metal coffin and you're in the creative fast lane and there's 10,000 cars in front of you and you're inching along and nobody's doing anything else, what's the point of being in the highway? What's the point of being in the creative industry? This is the kind of stuff, some would call it experimental, some would call it conceptual. I don't really care. All I know is it's incredibly motivating. It is the kind of work and books that I look at now as a photographer who has a very classic background and a classic degree in photojournalism, where there were so many rules and structures and do's and don'ts and ethics and all these things that I had to live by. This to me represents freedom, and it represents, honestly, the future of publishing, because this is accessible. These materials, these products, these formats are accessible to all of us, but it took someone like Chloe with her level of creativity and skill to pull this off. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. All of these publications. I don't know, honestly, if any of these are available. Again, she was a little hard to find online earlier. However, I did notice, last thing, Australia and New Zealand Photo Book Awards, apparently from 2020. And lo and behold, guess who has 2 winning books? Chloe Ferres. The first one called Zion. The second one called Ectopic Plants. And these are beautiful publications. These are not done with Blurb. I want to say these are done with Memento Pro, which is a POD company out of Sydney or Melbourne. And they do incredible books. Their books are very, very beautiful. They do a lot of events and are sort of one of the well-known names down in Australia in terms of print-on-demand publishing, but also custom print-on-demand publishing. I wish Memento Pro was in the US because I would probably be using them. I really love their books. I've been to their exhibitions in Sydney and I've seen stuff that just blew me away. So clearly she's out there doing something. I probably should have reached out to her before I did this, but I have to do 4 films today alone. Let me repeat that. I have to do 4 films today alone. This is number 2. So I have 2 more to do, and it's already 4 o'clock. So it's not looking good. My afternoon and evening are not looking so promising to do anything else. However, I love doing this, and if I can expose you to somebody like Chloe, I feel like I'm doing everybody a service here, and I hope you appreciate that. I hope you get a chance to, I don't know, maybe co-opt some of these ideas, experiment, tinker, try something on your own, and look her up. And if she is on Instagram, that's one person that is worthy of following wherever she is. Thanks, and I'll be back with another episode at some point, at some place, at some time.